a labor of love, and it's great to have all our application process is live and well. As we prepare to welcome our first cohort in the next month, I want to share some basic information on the program. My hope is that the information will help you better understand the logistics, curriculum, and goals so we can partner to recruit participants who will be the best fit. And for those who have already applied, who's on the call, just so you all can get a deeper and better understanding of the overall program. We are thrilled to partner with Enterprise and bring their expertise in this arena to greater Louisville businesses. They have launched several successful accelerators across the country, and after a thorough RFP process, we knew they would be a great match for the kind of initiative we were trying to launch. The applications opened a few weeks ago, and it will remain open until April the 12th. We are looking for 15 to 20 small to mid-sized business, minority-owned businesses to participate in our very first cohort. While we require that the businesses have at least one non-owner employee and a minimum gross revenues of $200,000. The most important requirement, though, is a desire to grow and scale. So please don't let any of those other things deter you from applying and for telling others about the program. We're just very, very interested in businesses who certainly have that strong desire. We know not all businesses want to scale up or may not have the time to commit. We want these participants to have a good fit for our program, but we also want to be a good fit for you. Many of you may be familiar with existing community incubators and accelerators in our community. We have worked closely with these groups to ensure our program will not detract from their work. In fact, we plan to continue collaborating with other programs to ensure businesses have a full continuum of resources at every stage. While we will begin virtually our program, our hope is we can move to in-person sessions as public health guidelines allows later this year. And just we're going to continue throughout this session today, talk about the requirements, talk about how you can become a part of it. But just for your sake and for folks that you want to communicate this with, our application can be found at greaterlouisville.com / that's / MBA, greaterlouisville.com / MBA. So I will turn that over now to our content partners, Enterprise.
Next slide.
Thank you, Dana.
Yeah.
Next slide, please.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and thank you all for being at the info session today. My name is Eric Jordan, the Diversity and Inclusion Strategies Manager at GLI. And I will also serve as Program Manager for the Power to Prosper MBA. So as you can see on the slide, the Power to Prosper MBA will be a 7-month program beginning in May 2021 with 13 sessions total. And so there will be 2 3-hour sessions per month, and we will have guest experts for each module and session. And the program will rely on peer mentoring and what we will call CEO mentoring groups, where business owners will meet and collaborate with each other to get through the program. And so to discuss the power and impact of this program, I introduce you to Bernard Johnson from Enterprise. Bernard.
Thank you so much, Eric and Dana. And welcome to all of you prospective business owners for joining us today for our first info session. We are really excited to be able to collaborate with GLI on a really informative initiative that is designed exclusively for business owners like yourselves today. And we are going to spend some time and allow for some really good opportunities for you all to hear more about what it is that we're doing together with and for you. Enterprise is a national nonprofit headquartered here in Boston, and we have a mission that is really geared towards building an inclusive economy, really working with established minority and small business owners. The reason being is that we understand that when you provide business owners that are minority with connections, networks, capital, increasing their confidence while building capacity, those business owners are going to outperform many of their counterparts. Reason being is that many of these business owners are business owners out of necessity. And we understand what that means, right? When you're talking about creating an opportunity for yourselves, for your family, for others, in terms of being an employer, you have a really unique responsibility. And with that comes a lot of accountability as well. And so we have designed for the past 17 years programming specifically for building and scaling minority businesses and businesses that are owned and operated in low to moderate income communities. Next slide, please. So one of the things that we are really able to share as a part of our partnership with GLI is that GLI is one of only 3 organizations that we work with that have a really dedicated focus as a chamber to scaling minority-owned businesses. And the way that we do that in terms of Enterprise is that we have a national network. So if you enter into this program, you will be entering into a program that has had now over 9,000 alumni since 2004. You're entering into a program that has now, I'd say, probably about 85 to 90 different programs run on an annual basis. And most importantly, you're entering into a program that you have business owners who are creating jobs 11 times the rate of the private sector. And that is important for you all to know because we check that out, particularly because we understand that if you're creating and you're retaining jobs, that you are a thriving small business, you're increasing your capacity for contracts, for capital, and most importantly, you're creating opportunities for yourselves. One of the things that I like to talk about in terms of kind of some of our recognition pieces is the fact that the World Bank, obviously many of us understand their credibility. They have to do vetting on programs. And when they did vetting on programs, they recognized only 25 must-see entrepreneurship programs offered in the entire world. We, being Enterprise, we fall in the category of second stage small business growth. And the World Bank only recognized 4 of those nationally. And we were one of 4, internationally, we were one of 4 recognized. And we are the only curriculum that is offered in the United States that's been recognized by the World Bank for second stage small business growth. That's important for you all to know because you're getting involved with an award-winning program that has really an international scale being delivered locally by a really strong partner here with GLI. Next slide, please. One of the things that you will hear about quite a bit today when my colleague Lindsay Whitehurst comes on and discusses further is what is actually meant by capacity building, right? So I think sometimes folks hear that term and they don't necessarily understand what it means. So I want to share a little bit more detail about what that's going to mean for all of you. So one of the things that you will learn as a part of this program is the ability to recognize kind of what some of the things that you may want to either enhance and improve upon, maybe some of the things that you're not necessarily paying that much attention to because you're moving at the speed of light. But most importantly, we're going to create a really sound circular process for you all so that you're recognizing, you're applying, and you're learning kind of all in sequence. And those circles move, as you can see, in either direction. So what we're talking about here with all of you is really a journey around building longitudinal and creating an iterative process for yourself and for your business. Really being much more strategic, much more opportunistic, which is going to allow for you all to take advantage of many opportunities that are going to be presented to you all as a graduate of this program. So what we're really looking for you all to do is to increase your capacity around the ability to maintain a strategy, also having really sound organizational procedures, new management behaviors, really taking a step back as the leader of the organization and really refining what it is to be a CEO and or a president. And we look at that as that co-evolution in terms of that strategy piece, processes, people, and that business owner as the centerpiece. We understand you all, the glue that's holding this all together. We want to unlock that for you all on a consistent basis so that you can build refined steps to have sustained capacity building efforts, not just for a short time, but for a longer period of time so that you can increase capacity, therefore increasing your opportunities in the thereafter. Next slide, please. You know, I'm very excited to be able to introduce my colleague, Lindsay Whitehurst here. Lindsay holds a really important role at Enterprise, and she has a unique focus, having also had the unique experience of sitting with business owners like yourselves on a day-to-day basis. But most importantly, she is the backbone for the organization as it relates to, you know, kind of the understanding of what it is that we do per our program. So it gives me great pleasure to be able to introduce to all of you Ms. Lindsay Whitehurst.
Thanks, Bernard. I appreciate that. And thank you for all of you for showing up today and for doing the work that you're doing. Our small business owners are at the heart of the work we're doing, but they're at the heart of all of our communities. You are the job creators and the wealth generators. And I want to start this by just thanking you for showing up for us and for the greater Louisville community. What I love about this slide is this is a business owner who graduated back in 2017, but we captured this quote over the summer of 2020. He had gotten back in touch with us during the COVID crisis to figure out what supports were available. And this business owner said, this program changed my life, changed his life back in 2017. He was able to open a second manufacturing location during the height of the pandemic because of the strategic plan that he had built 3 years ago with his coach, the instructor, and the program managers. So I'm excited to welcome you all into this experience and into our family. If you're a small business owner who's looking to grow, then you are in the right place. And I'm excited to talk with you all. And what a dream team you have here at GLI supporting you. I've known Miguel, the instructor, for a good few years now, and I've had the opportunity to get to know Eric and Dana over the last month. And this team is incredible. You'll be in good hands and well supported. And from the Enterprise side, I want to walk you through a little bit of what you can expect in the program. But before I get started, I also wanted to just hear from some of you as well. So there's a chat box located at the bottom of your screen, and you can chat your answer. But I would bet that every single one of you who is here, you know, you started your business because you have a dream or a vision for that business, the reason why you got started. And I would love for you to use the chat function at this point to share your dreams and goals for your business, whether it's to become the foremost commercial construction company in Kentucky, or if you want to be the go-to contractor on all the city buildings in the area, or maybe you have a product that you want to see on every shelf in every major retailer in the country. I'd love for you to go ahead and chat that dream or that vision for your business now, so that we can get to know you a little bit, but also to hear some of those dreams come alive. Yeah, I love seeing those come in. Thank you so much. But for a lot of our business owners, there's no dream too big. You know, we just need an anchor point to focus on throughout the program, the sort of, you know, end zone that you want to get to. So for many of our business owners, you started with a passion or a talent and you built a business around it. And now you're ready to define that vision and build that goal for the future. And this program is designed for established business owners who know their craft, they know their trade, and they're ready to build and reinforce that foundational business knowledge to go a level where you can launch forward and get to that next stage. So I thought, you know, rather than just tell you about the program, I wanted to show you a little bit about the program. And I'll do that through a quick story. So back when I first started at Enterprise in 2016, during the recruitment phase, trying to find the right business owners for this program, I met a gentleman who was 31 years old, who had a $1.5 million business transportation company that he had grown for the last 13 years, ever since he was in college. And he and I met, and he invited me into his boardroom. He's sitting there with his foot up on the table in this giant boardroom. You know, I had just started, and I sit down and he says, "Tell me why I should be in your program." And I said, "Well, tell me where you'd like your business to be in 3 years." He said, "I want to grow it to $10 million. How are you going to help me do that?" And so that's what we're going to do today. I want to walk you through exactly how this program can help you grow your business. So every participant in the GLI Power to Prosper Minority Business Accelerator program will graduate with a completed growth plan in hand. And this growth plan it's the GPS. It's a 3-year roadmap that will take the participants where you want your business to grow, to that vision and dream that some of you have chatted down in the box below. So imagine that you're building this plan through the structure of an award-winning program that has proven curriculum for over 17 years, over the course of 13 sessions, with the support and expertise of 15 to 20 fellow business owners who know what you're going through, the coaching and mentorship of a brilliant instructor, while also having the guidance and the resource connection and the guest experts. These people are CFOs and bookkeepers, procurement managers, VPs of banking, all of these guest experts coming into your classroom and connecting exactly with you in order to help grow your business. And on the next slide, you'll see that there are some key components to this program that make it so special and impactful. We just talked a little bit about the growth plan, that's that block at the bottom. And I want to go from the bottom to the top. The bottom is where we're all headed. And as we go up the slide, that's how we're going to get there. There are 4 key components that make this program unique. And the first of which is the guest experts. I talked about them a minute ago. These are our CFOs, our procurement folks. These are individuals who are invested in the growth of your business, who are experts in their field and willing to bring in their knowledge, their network, and those connections to ensure that your business grows. We also have CEO mentoring groups. Imagine you had the opportunity to have 5, 6 folks around you who is a de facto board of advisors, fellow business owners that you can tell the real story to. You can meet at your business or at their business and sit down and sort of debrief. How did that week go for you? What about your business plan that you're building? How are you going to get there? These are your folks that'll be your cheerleaders and also hold you accountable throughout the program to make sure you get the most out of it. We also have live cases. What's different about this program from others is, the core curriculum is called the Streetwise MBA, because we're not talking about Coca-Cola or Disney or Google. We're talking about your business, your lived experience. And when you bring that live case into class and you're presenting in front of a panel of, access and capital experts, it's your story, it's your numbers, it's that real impact and real advice that goes directly into building the growth plan for your business. There are no hypotheticals in this class. It's all practically based. And the final piece is the session prep. There's a huge opportunity for business owners to kind of get what's up here in your head and bring it down and put it on paper. And the session prep and the work that we do throughout the class is designed to get that brilliance from your brain out onto paper so you can begin to weave together a strategy. This is done through a series of articles that you'll read, different workshops, worksheets, and then also the development of that growth plan, ultimately. On that very top of the slide, you'll see 4 different blocks. Those are the curriculum modules that we go through. Those are our foundational blocks, all of which you've lived as an experience, but we get into the strategy and sort of the tactical side of that information. Module 1 is all about the business owners themselves, why you started the business, who you are as a leader. And in the first module, you'll learn to distill the dreams that you have for your business, create that big vision for your growth plan, and then create the SMART goals that you need to actualize and get there. When I was talking about Daniel earlier, that business owner who's at 1.5 million, 13 years in business, since he had been building his business on his own for the last 13 years, he learned during this module that in order for him to grow and scale the business, he had to learn how to delegate. He couldn't be there for everything, or the business would always stay as small as him. And so his aha for the business was he had to figure out how to work on the business and not just in it. And in module 2, we talk about finances. We're going to dive deep into the financial management aspect of owning a business. You'll learn about the key financial statements, how they relate to one another, and it'll prepare you to understand the financial health of your business and how to make effective decisions based on the numbers that you see in those financial documents. Each of those sessions will invite those guest experts. Again, these are bookkeepers, CFOs, CPAs, folks who live and breathe the numbers of businesses and can look at your business and say, here's where you're at. And if you want to get here, here's what needs to happen. And they'll build that knowledge inside of the business owner as well, so that you feel confident and empowered moving forward. So Daniel, again, we'll use him as an example throughout the whole story. He was chasing any and every contract that he could find. He wanted limo service, black car service, corporate buses. But what he learned by session 6 through the break-even analysis was that he was losing money, hand over fist, trying to do the taxi service and the limo service, because there's a capacity limit on how many people you can serve in that way. But by investing in corporate buses and vans, he only needed half the number of contracts and half the inventory. So imagine what a big shift that was for his company, immediately increasing his profit margin and expanding the capacity to earn more revenue. In module 3, I will say that that's usually everyone's favorite module. It's all about marketing and sales and building profitable sales. The business owner, the CEO and founder of the business is usually the #1 salesperson, right? That's how you built the business from the very beginning. And so this module can feel very comfortable as you get back to what you're really good at. But imagine building that on those first 2 modules, from the business assessment to the financial management session. Now you're talking about, now that I know my break-even analysis, now that I know those numbers, I know who my market is and who my competitors are. I know which numbers and which levers to pull to increase my profitable sales and to get in more customers. So for Daniel, the learning that happened during this module was that he could not and should not compete with Lyft and Uber, but knowing that he needed those corporate contracts, he can now tailor all of his branding to market and attract more of those contracts. And finally, module 4 is all about the resources that you need to grow. And so in this module, you talk about the talent, the team that you currently have, but what's the team that you need to grow where you'd like to go? What is the capital that you'll need behind you? And what are the opportunities around procurement or contracts with local universities, local hospitals, the local state and, city, state, and federal government entities? Who are these different folks that can be a huge linchpin in your business that, if activated, you can grow and scale your business? Those are the folks we bring into this module and you'll have a conversation with, so that you can walk away knowing the resources that you need to get where you're going, but also how to access them and implement it immediately. So for Daniel, the biggest lesson during this module was accessing the capital that he needed gave him the opportunity to learn where and when to access a credit line versus a business loan versus self-financing through the business. And so he could maximize on his profits, but also build that revenue and save some room for some of that company growth. And again, I mentioned earlier some guest experts in those different components. That really shows up into session 12. In session 11, you have a panel of accessing capital experts. These are anyone from a traditional lender to a non-traditional funding or VC funding, depending on who's in the classroom and what you need. Those are the folks that'll show up on the panel, and they're going to answer immediate questions for you. You say, I want $300,000 loan for XYZ. And they can say, here's a better way to do that, or here's why you would get that loan, or here's why you wouldn't get that loan, and walk through that information. So in a risk-free environment, you can get the information that you need to go forward. In session 12, in that procurement panel, where you have a procurement panel, it's a really exciting session. Depending, again, who's in the room and what you're looking forward to growing, you can bring those procurement officers into the panel, get past all of those gatekeepers, and meet with the decision makers for those specific contracts. I had a business owner who wanted to open her second location inside of one of the new casinos we had in Massachusetts. I was able to bring into the classroom the head of the Massachusetts Gaming Commission. So imagine that's 5 levels that she was able to leapfrog over to hear directly from the decision maker why she would or wouldn't have her be able to get her business in the casino. And in fact, she did get her business in that casino. So really excited about that. So just to wrap it up with our story from Daniel, we walked through all these different modules of learning, all the while building out this growth plan, this 3-year roadmap. And at the very beginning, when everyone in the class said, Daniel, what's your big vision, where you'd like to grow? He said he wanted to grow his business to $10 million in 3 years. And everyone said, wow, from 1.5, that's incredible. But what I can tell you is that in 4 years, Daniel grew his business to $52 million and 200 employees. Because that's what happens when you bring together driven business owners, critical business education, a cohort of peer business owners, and the network and resources needed to grow and scale your business. I'm very excited to talk with you all today, and I hope that you'll join this class and you'll join the opportunity to grow and scale your business up to the next level. Your business is a great company. I'm so happy to welcome you all here. I'm going to pass it back to Bernard to keep us moving and talking about this incredible opportunity.
Thank you, Lindsay. Love hearing the story about Daniel, and also too, just taking a peek at the chat. Dr. Gaines and Teresa, really appreciate the both of you kind of sharing about just some of your big vision goals. And I always love hearing from business owners who are doing not just great work in terms of scaling and revenue base, but also great work that has a real important meaning to the community. So really excited about those two that you all shared. Thank you. Next slide, please. So one of the things that we also do is we keep, kind of good tabs on our business owners for a length of time. And Scott Baker, president of Skycom Courier, I'll tell a very quick personal story about his business because I grew up, and we're in Boston, so Enterprise is headquartered in Boston. And I actually grew up not knowing across the street from Skycom Courier. And full transparency, Enterprise did not put this quote in this slide so I could tell the personal story, but I'm gonna tell my little personal story. And so, one of the things, and I've been at Enterprise for 11 years, and, Skycom Courier, they are across the street, literally from the house I grew up in. And Scott took the program during I think the Great Recession. And many businesses who took the program during that time were in a similar time as we are right now, where there was some uncertainty and business owners had to reinvent themselves. But at the same time, he understood, and many understood, the only way to really remain competitive and really, I think, grow is to invest yourself and really double down in being more strategic and more opportunistic. So long story short of it is, one of my first meetings at Enterprise was kind of go out and see business owners, and I got the address for Scott Baker at Skycom Courier. And I was like, wow, this is right across the street from where I grew up. I go see my parents all the time. The house is still there. And Scott Baker's business is literally right across the street. And one of the things that always impressed me about him was that he talked about how invaluable the procurement part of this program is. And as Lindsay said, because you're not studying Apple and Google and Microsoft, your business is a case study. So what Scott was able to do, he was able to leverage what he learned in the program and he applied it immediately. So he was able to get contracts with Masco, which is the medical area in Boston. It has all these national hospitals that are there. He was able to build rapport and get a contract with that, which was huge. Northeastern University, Harvard Vanguard, and TJX Corporation. And an update to this, Scott then expanded just outside of the Boston area, and he went down to the New Haven area, and he was doing business with Yale University. And so in a very short amount of time as a graduate of the program, he was able to leverage what he learned, go get contracts, and hire 35, probably now almost 50 people or 50 employees that work with and for Scott. And to see him in his office that day was fascinating because he could spend the time with me and have a dialogue, and he wasn't putting out 1,000 different fires, right? And that's what we're talking about. When you increase your capacity, you as a CEO, you're able to do what it is that you do best. And not feel like you got to have every hand on every fire, but you can double down on what your natural skill sets are and then empower others by really effective delegation so that they can also leverage and grow right along with you. So, I appreciate telling the story about Scott because that's a local business owner from my hood that really took his business to the next level. Next slide, please. I'd now like to also introduce my colleague, Holden Pierre, who does our work on partnerships, and he works directly with GLI on a day-to-day basis to give some more insight as to what it is that we do post-program with our business owners. Holden?
Thank you, Bernard. Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. It's been an honor to work with Eric and Dana over the last month. And one thing that we've learned over these years of doing this work is that the program is successful when there's a partner who is very passionate about the work that they're doing and willing to do the groundwork. And I think Eric and Dana has been very passionate in doing everything they can to really just get the word out, and same with GLI. And so we're excited to be here to support them and to ensure that you guys get the best support that you need. And so for us at Enterprise, impact matters to us. I think it's part of our core. And because of that, research and evaluation is something that we really depend on. And so throughout the program, and 3 years after graduation, we survey business owners to ensure that we are measuring the impact of the program, but also making sure that we are improving the program in real time. And so from the beginning of the program, when you start, you'll be filling out like a business assessment. And after every session, there's like a session evaluation that we ask you to fill. So that way, if there's anything right after the session that we need to check in with the instructor or the program manager, we can check in with them and make sure that we make that improvement. And then halfway through the program, we have something called a midway report. And so that during the midway call, we do like a start, and continue, so that we check in, what do we need to stop, what do we need to start, and what do we need to continue to ensure that you are receiving the best quality education in this program. And then at the end of the program, we also do something called the final program feedback, where we, everybody who's helping to lead this program, come together to figure out what we can improve on to the next cohort coming up. But beyond that, we follow our business owner for about 3 years, just to make sure that this program really works. And what that also helps us too is working with the local partner, GLI, to ensure that if there's any extra support you need once you graduate from the program, you're receiving it. And so once you, as Lindsay said, once you join, you are part of the family. We do not let you go, because one thing that we've heard many times is business owners sometimes feel lonely and feel like they have to go through the struggle by themselves. And we want to make sure that once you join this family, you are not alone. You're part of the GLI family, but you're also part of Interrise over 9,000 business owners family. And so this data that you're looking at is our 2019 National Impact Report, where we had over 1,200 alumni fill it out. And so I'll quickly kind of go through the data with you guys. We had 40% of the alumni businesses operate in LMI communities. And so one thing that we know is that this program really worked. And I think Bernard and Lindsay mentioned this, but one thing that we're very proud of is that throughout the data that we've seen, is that it works really well in LMI communities, but also with minority business owners. The stats that we have seen has been amazing. And this is one of the reasons why we are very passionate about this during this time, because we know that during COVID, in many different communities, a lot of minority business owners are struggling, and we wanted to make sure we partner with GLI to bring this here, because we've seen with the stat that you guys can see here, one of the ones I'm most proud of is the 77% revenue growth for minority business owners. And that's higher than almost any other businesses that we work with in the program. And we really want to make sure that we see the same stat in the Louisville community as well. Next slide, please. Thank you. And so, as Bernard mentioned, we have been around since 2004. And so this is not the first recession that we've done. We've been through, and one of the things that we are very proud of is that this program works. It works at all times, even during the recession. As you can see in the stat that's on the slide, is that even during the 2008 recession, our business owner were able to create job at 21% higher than the private sector, when the private sector was losing jobs. And so we truly believe that this program will allow you to not only be able to scale your business, but it's also going to be able to help you to make your business more resilient, so that whatever future crisis that our nation may go through, you'll be there. And we truly believe that as your business becomes resilient and your business becomes stable, you will also help the local community as well. Because one thing we've seen throughout our other data is that local minority businesses hire locally, and so they ensure that their community is stable throughout these different crises that we may experience in our nation. Next slide, please. Thank you. And so what will you learn in this program? Lindsay mentioned a lot of it, but I want to go through this so that you guys can hear about it. First, you'll have confidence in overall leadership. A lot of business owners, they step into this out of necessity. And sometimes in business, you have to do, some of them don't have the confidence they need. And throughout this program, as you learn the necessary information, we've seen it time and time again that people become more confident. And as they get more confident, when they go to talk to a funder, they are able to get money faster because they know how to present their stuff. And connected to that, as you in this module 2, as you learn more about your financials, one, it'll help you to figure out if your CPA is playing you, if you need to fire your CPA, if you need to what shift you need to make, and I think it's going to help your business to become more efficient. And during this time, one thing we've seen is, some of the business owners within our network, there hasn't been some of them haven't been a lot of opportunities, but during this time, because of the information that they've learned, they've been able to hone down on their financial systems and their business system. And one thing that it has allowed them to do is to save a lot of money, so that even as they wait for the economy to open up again, they are in a better position to tackle any new opportunity that come. Confidence in retaining existing customer. During the cohort, there's a session where we have you interview your old customer just to learn from it. And so there's different things that you're going to learn in this program just to figure out how you can retain existing customers, and also how to identify the right customer for your business as well. Knowing how to make an effective case for additional funding. I already mentioned that, so I'm not going to restate it. Using well thought out procedures to address human resources, value government contract, and confidence in applying for government support in sales and strategy and marketing. And so all of those are amazing. I'm excited about the value of government and contract and confidence in applying for government support, because one thing we've also learned throughout our work is that one of the best ways for minority businesses to grow is by getting anchor institution or government contract. And so we really want to make sure that this program provide you with the system in place to help you scale, because if you can scale and have the system in place, once the new contracts come, you'll be able to handle it. Actually, I'll share this story. There was, in one of the programs that we've had, there was a business owner who was about to get a major government contract, but he wasn't ready for it. And so luckily, with the way the contract was set up, he had 7 months to have the system in place. And so the business came to him at the right time. And so he took this program and really learned how to really just implement all these systems and at the right time, because if he implemented it the wrong way, his business could have crashed. And he will have a heavy overhead. But because he took this program and really worked with his instructor, worked with his program manager, his business was able to blossom. And not only that, but also be able to get multiple other government contracts. And that's what we really desire for you. And so, as you can see, Bernard, Lindsay, and I, we're very passionate about this work. And so is Eric and Dana. And so right now I'm going to pass it off to Eric just to really share more about the program, the requirement, and really just let you know what you need to do to really just sign up.
Sure. Thank you, Holden. So as you can see on this slide, and Dana Johnson mentioned this earlier, we are looking for businesses that are, primarily ethnic minority-owned businesses that make $200,000 or more in annual revenues, have at least one other full-time employee besides the owners. The participant must be the CEO and or at least 51% owner of the company. And we're looking for businesses that are that have been in business for at least 2 years. And we're also looking for participants who are willing to attend class for 7 months, complete mandatory assignments, and complete program surveys as requested. And like Dana mentioned earlier, even if you don't perfectly meet these criteria, we still encourage you to apply to the program. In fact, I'm going to put the link to our program page in the chat, just so you can have easy access to it. And this link will take you to our application page where you can apply, or you can encourage other business owners to apply to the program as well. Next slide, please. So this slide shows you our next steps. So like what was mentioned earlier, the program application deadline is April 12th, 2021. And that's when we're going to start doing interviews, which actually after that date is when we're going to start doing interviews, as you see, the week of April 12th and April 19th. And we hope to have a cohort selected the week of April 19th and the week of April 26th. And as you see at the bottom of the slide, that's also the link to our application page again. So if you have any additional questions, please let us know, and we will help you as best as we can. And so I turn things back to Dana Johnson for final remarks. Dana?
Thank you, Eric. Before we wrap up, we do have on the line our instructor in the person of Miguel Hampton. And Miguel, if you would just say hello or something to the group, give them a little snapshot of what they could expect possibly, I would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. You know, this is a great program, and I've had the privilege of doing 4 of them in Louisville. There's been 5. It is a peer-to-peer learning group, which is really interesting in a sense. It's not just coming in and hearing lectures or going through a process where, you know, somebody's telling you what to do. You're literally breaking down your business. It's really introspective in terms of who you are as an owner, CEO, and where you want to take your business. Over the years of doing this, I've seen situations where folks have gotten in and said, hey, we want to grow, and decided in the middle of the program, they wanted to sell. And that was their growing strategy. We've seen folks who said, hey, you know, I can be this. And then they realized going through the program and really sitting down and doing the work, they could be something totally different, bigger, better, smarter, whatever that is. So, you know, it's just a great opportunity. If you've got the time and the commitment to your business and you're looking at it from a strategic growth standpoint, and you want to be in a peer-to-peer place that's going to help you do that, man, this is it. And so I just exciting that GLI is putting this on.
Thank you, Miguel. I thought it was important if you all could just, at least for those who are interested in applying, you can meet your instructor. So again, as we wrap up, we're at the end of the day, and we know that people are tired and have worked in your businesses today. So just wanted to thank you for your time. Thank you, Interise. Thank you, Sydney, on our team who has walked with us. Again, we're super excited about this program. It's very new for GLI, our first ever cohort of its kind. And we are really looking forward to working with the businesses and excited to see where you all may potentially go in your business. So I just want one more time just to say, if you know of anyone else, a minority business that could benefit from this, please spread the word. Please share our program page. There are still a couple more weeks before our application process closes. And then after that, there will be an interview process and that sort of thing, and full launch in after Derby mid-May. So that's where we're going. And again, appreciate your time. And our contact information is there on that last slide, both myself and Eric's, if you do need any further information.